How long can a small power station power the standard Starlink for? Short answer is probably not very long, likely a few hours at most, probably. And you may even also be wondering, why would you only want to power Starlink for only a few hours at a time? Well, perhaps somebody lives on the road and only needs the internet for a small window of the day. Or maybe somebody's about to go camping and they only need the internet for a small window to finish some work or get something uploaded. My purpose that I'm looking for is simply for tailgating during football season, looking for internet access for maximum 5 to 6 hours or so while tailgating to be able to stream games. But how long specifically can a small power station power the Starlink standard? Let's find out. They say that the Starlink standard uses 75 to 100 watts when you're first powering it on while it searches for satellites, but then that wattage does dip down once it actually finds them. So ultimately, if you are concerned about power consumption, you probably should just get the Starlink Mini. It consumes, I believe, about a third the amount of power or so as the Starlink standard. But the Starlink standard is also on sale right now too, so that's what got me to get the standard. I was hoping to get the Mini, planning to get the Mini, and then I saw this thing on sale and decided why not. The first power station I'm going to use, I believe, has 146 watt hours. I've had this one for just a couple of years now. This thing works very well for just plugging in a speaker with the battery, and it doesn't die when I'm playing music while tailgating. I was also able to do that and power a small TV on this thing as well, and it still was able to last for a few hours, but doing just one of those at a time easily would last an entire tailgate. The other power station that I'm going to be using is one that is roughly probably twice the size of the other one. I believe the technical watt hours is 288 on this one. But yeah, this one lasts basically twice as long. It only has one AC outlet, but whenever I plug a TV into this one, a small TV during tailgate, it normally can last the entire time, and then this thing will still have like 50% battery at the end of the tailgate. Honestly, if the small power station can power the Starlink standard for 2 hours, I will be very impressed. If the big one can power it for 3.5 hours or so or more, I will be very impressed. Let's find out for ourselves how much it's going to use. Okay, so we are on the roof. We got the dish set up right over here. Pretty clear sky, a little bit of clouds, but I don't think that should be much of an issue. If anything, being close to the couch would be an issue, but we'll see how this works with it. Let's go ahead and get one of the power stations out of my backpack and we can get this thing plugged in. As I said before, we are going to use the small power station first. I don't expect this one to last anywhere near as close to how long the other one would last, but we'll give this one a try first and maybe we'll end up being surprised. Okay, so we are fully charged up. It's at 99% right now. I don't know why the screen's messing around like that, because when you're not looking at the camera, it's clearly just at 99%. Unfortunately, this power station does not show the output being sucked from it from the power source plugged into it, but this is also 2 years old. Maybe a newer model has that updated. I'm not too sure, but yeah, I don't know why on the camera it's all choppy, but it's a smooth 99% just in person. We're gonna pull up my other phone here and just connect to the internet to make sure that it's getting started. Let's open that Starlink app. It's been a few minutes, not even connected to the internet yet. It still says it's determining the alignment. It says it's connecting with the satellites in order to see which way it's facing, which, I mean, it's pointing north the way it's supposed to be facing. But even in this time, without having internet access, it's just been a few minutes and this thing's already down to 89%. I don't know if I can show that on the camera, but already down to 89%. Maybe the battery percentage is lying to us, so we'll keep it going to see how long it can last. But it looks like it's dying quickly, but yeah, as I said, I've had it for a few years. Maybe the percentage indicator's not super accurate. And we just got connected to the Starlink. The Starlink finally was able to get connected to the internet after finding its alignment. Let's check to see what the power is at on the power station now. It is at 87%, so it hasn't really changed a whole lot in the last few minutes. But yes, it's overall connected. It's looking pretty good. We'll have a decent amount of internet time, it's looking like, on the small power station. While we're connected, we should also go ahead and do a speed test while we're looking at it. For some reason, the speed test is showing a different result based on the website. The Starlink app says one thing, Google says one thing, the speedtest.net says another thing. But ultimately, this is decent coverage for, being on the roof. I'm not upset with it. It has been about 20 minutes since the thing's been powered up, so let's get up and go take a look at what we have for battery life on the power station, and yeah, we're at 83%. So it looks like, I don't know if that's even showing up on the camera or not, but it is looking like it has stabilized down a little bit since getting set up and connected to the internet. So maybe this thing might actually be the move. Maybe a small power station for less than $100 is the move. Like, I literally was sitting there considering, like, do I need to drop $1,000 on a big power station that has like 2,000 watt hours, or am I going to be able to make it by with another one of these ones? 30 minutes in, let's check on that battery level of our small power station to see how we are holding up. 30 minutes in, we are at 78%. Don't know if the camera's picking that up, but 78%. 45 minutes in here, let's go ahead, check the battery level on the small power station we got over here. And we are showing 70%. So assuming that this thing's not lying, we're probably going to get at least a couple hours out of this. So let's check back again in an hour to see where it's at. Assuming the thing's not lying, I don't think it's going to be below even 60% probably at that time. It's for sure going to be above 50. We have just hit an hour of running the Starlink standard on a $70 power station. Let's take a look at how the battery's doing. All right, so we are sitting at 60%. So what did I say? It was going to be above 60%. I said for sure above 50, maybe above 60, but yes, we are at 60%. Let's try and make a little bit of shade, then you can see it. I don't know why, like, I see 60% fine here, but then on the camera for some reason it's choppy. But overall, this thing's performing better than I expected it to. I'm very naive when I use the other power station to see how it's measuring how many watts are going to be getting pulled from the Starlink once it's connected, once it's running, because it's seeming like, so I tested it yesterday for, I think it pulls like 75% when it's getting started, but then it was down to, I'm guessing it's going to be down to like 30 to 40 watts once it's actually like sitting, going and idling. We've just hit the hour-and-a-half mark for the first power station, the smaller power station. I'm going to go over there and see what the battery's at, and then whenever that's done, we're going to see what it's at. Assume it will just last that same amount for 3 hours or so, and then we will try the second power station next. All right, so coming over here to the power station, we are at 45% is what we are showing at this time. So basically what this means is that using this little power station that only has 146 watt hours, it can power the Starlink dish for almost 3 hours. So for most people tailgating, this actually would probably work. As I said before, we don't know how honest this percentage is. It says 44% right now. We don't know how honest it is, but assuming it's close to being accurate, we can get almost 3 hours out of this thing. All right, that means we're gonna use the bigger one now to see how that does over the course of an hour and a half. So unlike the other power station, this one actually shows how much power is being drawn. It's still booting up the Starlink right now, but right now it's showing, you know, just a few watts here and there on it, but that should be jumping up here anytime soon. Okay, yeah, just a few minutes later, and we are booting up at 27 watts is what it's pulling right now. So we'll see how much it's pulling once we're getting connected. So I just got the notification that it is powered on and currently searching for satellites. I haven't moved it, so it should be able to find the same satellites that we were just using before. But searching for satellites, it's pulling a little bit more right now, closer to 50, but nowhere near that 75 that it was talking about on the website online. So it says that we are officially online and we are connected to the internet. We just ran a speed test looking at some little bit better figures than before, but looks like the power has dropped down just a slight bit once we're actually connected to the internet. I want to do a test though to see if it does pull more power when we're streaming or using the internet. So right now we are showing 50 watts roughly is what's being pulled right now. I'm only recording on my phone. I'm not using the internet or anything. Any other phone that I have that one paused also. With the other phone, we're currently running just a YouTube video to see if that impacts anything, but it's looking like pretty much the same power, jumping anywhere between 40 to 50 roughly. I was trying to pay pretty close attention to this, and I didn't see it jump anywhere close to that 75 to 100 watts that it's rated on the website. So maybe it doesn't even use that much. Maybe just during peak hours, if there's like obstructions, it will go to that amount. But overall, I saw maximum high 50s on this. Now, I already expect this power station to last quite a bit longer than that first one did, but even though it's been 10 minutes, let's go ahead and look at the percentage left on the battery life. Battery percentage at this one is showing 94%, so just like the last one, we don't know if this number's lying or how honest it is, so let's just give it some more time and see how it does. We just hit the 30-minute mark with the second power station, so let's go over and check on the battery level of how the other power station is going to be looking. And we are only down to 88%. I don't know if that was even looking at the screen correctly, if that can even tell. But yeah, 88%, so looking pretty good so far. So just as before, let's give this a little bit more time and then we will see how the battery's doing. I don't expect to go much longer than an hour and a half like the last power station, because I can't exactly just sit up here for hours on end. That'll be 3 hours at that point, but it's looking good. We are hitting the hour mark right now, so let's take a walk over to the power station and let's have a gander at it. We are sitting at 80% right now, so that's pretty good, I think. Once again, we only know so much from the percentage. We don't know if it's lying or is it telling the truth. But either way, if this math is correct, it's saying that this power station that was only a little bit over $100, I think it was like 120, 130, can power the Starlink for 4 hours. Perfect for a tailgate. Let's come back again at the hour and a half mark just to see where it's at. And if I like what I see, maybe we'll go to the 2 hour mark. Maybe. I don't know yet. We'll see. But let's find out. We just hit the 2 hour mark. Let's go ahead and take a look over at the battery level, the power station, to see how it's doing. So we got the Starlink there, we got the power station here. Let's have a look at this. Maybe you need to click this thing real fast to get to light up. We're at 67%. Looks like it's pulling a little bit higher in the wattage now, maybe to keep it warm. I was gonna say it has gotten noticeably colder since the sun's gone down. Temperature is also something that should have been talked about earlier as well, but I'm sure that also plays a role in how long the power stations will last. They're obviously gonna die sooner if it's cold outside. As well as the Starlink too needs to stay heated as well, so it's going to heat itself if it's cold out. But anyways, assuming that the power indicator on this power station is not lying and is somewhat accurate, we can power this thing for roughly 4.5 hours. In conclusion though, what did we find out about the Starlink and about these more affordable, lower watt hour power stations? For the purpose of tailgating or only using the Starlink for a few hours, one of these will do just fine. Now we need to keep in consideration as well if you're going to use a TV or multiple TVs and how big the TVs are. Those are going to obviously draw more power than just the Starlink itself. As well as you can also just get the Starlink Mini, which is going to draw less power than this Starlink standard, but you're going to trade off more expensive power station with higher watt hour capacity or the more expensive Starlink Mini. People like me who like to get to the spot 6 hours before the kickoff is and tailgate for 5 to 6 hours or so, yes, we may need a little bit more power and a little bit more watt hour capacity than what one of these could offer. But for most people, it would actually make sense. I will include links for both these power stations in the bio. If they ended up not working as well as they did today, I probably would not have dropped them in the bio, but they've been good to me. The smaller one for the last 2 years, then the slightly bigger one for the last year. They've been great to me, and it's looking like they're going to continue being great for me. Also, check out the links in the bio if you want to come to my tailgate, as well as also follow my other socials. And of course, take it easy.